And day 4 is Built Amber Dynax, the ultra clear Dynax. Now obviously we have undersealed the car in the previous episode, but what I'm going to be doing today is going over the box sections, the chassis rails where you've got the holes where you can actually squirt all this internally. That's the areas I want to concentrate on. The front subframe, it's basically 2 pieces of steel pressed, welded together, and in between there's a cavity. That's where they rust out, so I'm going to show you that as well. I'm mainly going to concentrate on spraying it generically over the suspension components. So in the front suspension, it's the strut, the bottom arm, the bottom of the subframe in general. The rear suspension, excuse me, front subframe. So rear subframe, the complete frame itself, top and bottom. Maybe going over the exhaust, some of the heat shields, and just some of the bits and pieces. We're not going to use the full can. I doubt it, but we might do. Depends on how big the box sections are and how far I can get that nozzle down. But there'll be a lot of squirting into cavities on this car, more than Beatrix, which was generically throughout the car. The only area of the car that I am not going to deal with is injecting the passenger sill, because you know my body man is going to be looking at that in about a month, 2 months time from now, or a month and a half from now. And if he discovers any holes, then I don't really want him having wax to contend with and clear out as well. So we'll leave it empty and let him do his job, and then we can fill it at a later date. So really, honestly, it's only the passenger sill that I'm just not touching externally or internally in this whole it's been a rust protection in general, and an underbody inspection, and I've been very impressed with how it's come up. I may want to silicone some of the CV boots, particularly the one where I suspect it may be slightly cracking, but it looks so neat. I don't think it is, and I certainly would have spotted that before because I've inspected them in the past. And I suspect it was there also, but because it was right near the hose, the actual clip itself, I wouldn't have seen it. So something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I am going to get dressed. Oh, lo and behold, it's decided to rain it down now. Brilliant. And it looks like I've just come out and it's decided, oh, Andrew's come out of his house now. Now we can immediately rain it down like anything. Oh, right. Now, the first thing I will say, yes, hello tripod. It's very professional. Show my own tripod. I will wear this mask mostly throughout, so you may not hear me speak, but I will point out the areas that you have to use this with. When I'm using the nozzle, it's absolutely fine when I'm spraying the box sections. But when I'm spraying generically over the suspension components, I'm going to have to wear this, because last time it did go everywhere. And when some went up your nose, that's not a good sign that you've actually protected yourself. No. And I've been guilty of not doing enough of that in the past, so that's come out. Anyway, let's crack on. Right, first job is that it always comes with this special nozzle, so use this for the cavities. Right, now move that out of the way. Go away. Right, now the first section we're going to look at is just here. Okay, just behind here we got the cross member spraying to here. The next one is to try and spray into this box section here. We want to fill all this box section up here, okay, all this, and put some through here as well. If there's a hole, put it in. Okay, now I will say one thing, this sill has been injected already with Dynax, so we won't bother with that. And I think in the inner sill you've got these little holes just here going all the way down, so just inject into every single one of them. Oh yeah, it's a nice fine spray, just get it everywhere. Remember, rust starts on the inside out, so you're stopping this from occurring. Whoa! There we go. Look at that. We've literally just shot it straight up and it's just come up here through this seam. La! That's what you want. Anyway, this is going to be Dynaxed as a wheel arch. The front wheel arches are going to be Dynaxed generically because we haven't undersealed them. It's just stone chip. Just put some through here. There we go. So all this section here done. Just want to go through here, just squirt it inward there. Lovely. Right, next section. Joel. Squirt it all the way down. We want it to go all the way down this box section and back up. And then just feed it through again. So you want to start on these holes here. Oh, look at it dripping out. That's what you want to see. Drip, drip, drip. It will drip the excess out. This is a waxy, waxy substance. Right, so we're just going to go with this. And just... Oh, there's tons of it dripping out. I didn't see this big hole here. That's good. That's good to know. Just pour it in. It just goes to show that this actually does travel quite easily. On this side, so that basically goes up to this seam. It's this little, this whole section. As they being one piece, it will just go up. But I've not known these sections to rot out internally, but potentially water could go in there and rot this whole section out. So if you want it in here, I mean, you can just go from the other side like that. If this seam is quite open, there we go. Quite an open seam, and there is a ton already going in. I can see it. Yeah. I'll just squirt it through the other hole. No, maybe not. Maybe a bit, maybe a little bit there. Good. I'll just put some in here. This little hole here, there's just a... Ah, well that's quite interesting. It's actually come straight back out. I didn't realise there was a hole there, but it's good for it to just sit there. That's okay. Just wax it in. Now your front arms, they'll have a little hole here. Again, the front arms can... They've got two, it's got an internal section, it's two pieces. Wow, my nozzle's gone. They've got in two pieces that are basically welded together, because you've got this little piece, you've got this piece here where you can get your fingers in. So get your nozzle in and just aim it straight into the actual arm itself, because that way, if you aim in all different directions, just aim it in that way. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Good. Okay, just get it in that way. Now, there's a couple of areas I want to show you. Excuse me. I think this nozzle is a bit loose. It's not the best of fit, I have to say. Right, front subframe. Okay, we've got a hole here. As I say, this subframe is double skinned. There's a cavity, there's a hole in between the two pieces. Make sure that that hole gets filled with all sorts of cavity wax. So you look at that. You want to see this. You want to see it come out the sides. See, look at that. There we go. Good. That's what you want. Okay. That's not a hole. That's a hole there. Little square hole. Oh my god, that's irritating. I'm literally, my legs are by the bumper and a bit of water is just splattering on my crotch. Oh god, that's, if you've ever worked in the rain and you've felt that, that's the most uncomfortable feeling ever. This is why you watch me, isn't it? Seeing someone suffer while you're sitting with your slippers on and your dressing gown. Another hole. And that's it really. Yeah, so as long as you've covered the basis of the subframe, that's all good. Right, I'm going to do the front arch now. I'm just going to put my face mask on. Oh, 10 minutes later and £20 sprayed on the car. Literally that is it. I have just shown you how to, I mean, literally it was a bit more complicated than that. It literally took 10 minutes because I knew all the areas to go for. As I say, go for the chassis legs. I've done the rear legs as well. So you've got these rear chassis legs, just go through all the holes up there wherever you can see them, okay, as they go up the car, including these holes here, okay. Squirt them into there so that the entire box session chassis legs are actually covered from their front to back. It is an absolutely horrendous day. I cannot wait to get in but the front arches have been completely done now in this waxy clear goo, which is fantastic because it retains the original colour of the suspension. I do apologise for the camera focus, but it's a miserable day. I am yet to wait for the caliper paint, but I'm going to be doing that next thing of all. The next thing I'm going to be doing is getting silicone spray on the CV boots, which I'm going to do right now actually. So just a bit of silica, okay, there's a bit of paint on there as well, nice as well. Inner ones as well, especially that one. Tie rod boots, that sort of thing. Let's go around the block. Go to the shorter one. Tie rod. Yeah. Yes. Spray the gearbox, Andrew, why don't you? The only thing you cannot get Dynax on is brakes, but what I'm going to do, there may have been some overspray, and there probably will have been because I was aiming here, so I will go over the back of the disc with some brake cleaner or white spirit. Either one will get rid of it, and that's as simple as that. Look at the wax, good grief. I didn't realise I'd gone overboard on it, but yeah, the wax is doing its job, and it's beading all kinds of water, and we're getting at least the drains are unblocked, and I can see that. Brilliant. That's why I wanted to do it now before it gets even worse. Just going to put some silicone on the boots. It doesn't hurt to put some silicone along those boots. It's ideal. That's it. Lovely. Right, I'm sick and tired of this weather. I've just had to go in and change myself because it was so wet, but now all my work is done on the ground. I am now well on dry ground now, hence why I'm wearing my better trousers. This wheel arch liner, it's not interesting content, but all I will say is slot it here. Okay, you got a slot in the front wing just here, slot it in there so it hangs up, and then you can put all 4 bolts back in and then the bottom bolt back in, and your jobs are good. Top tip for those of you who have not done this sort of job before, putting the arch liner back in, I would advise to line this up properly, that you put these 4 bolts back in and that 5th one in, but do not tighten any of them until that bolt is in position, and then you can tighten these up, because you might find that you can't get this one lined up properly if these are all off centered. So just put them all in, but don't tighten them up until this one is done, then you can tighten them up in sequence. So it should sit at the end, just this little lip over the top. There's always a gap here, that's the problem. Just tighten these up. Yeah, I just tightened that one up. Come on. Put that one back in. Lovely. Lovely. And lovely. Done, done, done. Oh ye typical British weather. It was beautiful yesterday, and now it's like this. Oh well, better get on. The next job that I have in mind is something that you would not normally contemplate unless you are a true detailing enthusiast like myself, and it is not just cleaning the wheels, but cleaning the back of the wheels, the areas that people don't look at. Look at it, look at it. I cleaned these about 12 months ago. Now look at the amount of brake dust, and I haven't even used the car that much. So both of these are going to be cleaned now using Ruby Red. Ruby Red is a Diamond Bright product. It's It's like magma. If you've got auto glim, get my brush, get in there. Yeah, it's very similar to magma, the way it works. It basically reacts with iron particles on the alloys and turning it into a reddish bloody colour, which is great, so you can see actually where the reactions are and where the actual contaminants are that need to be lifted. So I'm just going to spray these at the back of these wheels and we'll see how actually bad they are. I will go over with the copperies because, as you can see, there's been some reaction. Not as bad on that one, but I am going to put the copperies on the hubs a little bit more thoroughly than I did last time. Anyway, let's get in there. I think the Diamond Bright stuff is a little bit more expensive than the Auto Glim stuff. I don't like the smell of this. This smells absolutely disgusting. If you've ever used this stuff, oh, look at that, it's already reacting. Yeah, just use it liberally. I have to wait a few minutes. I have got some stones to pick out because, yeah, I went on a farm and you pick up stones. Yeah. Can you actually see that on camera? It's literally taken like a couple of minutes. I just need to go over this bottom bit as well. There we go. Just spin it round if you can't quite do it. Now, let's get my bucket of water. So there is plenty here. Just some water just to agitate it in. Oh my god. This is going to come up so well. I know some people use hydrochloric acid and mix it with, I think, water. I think you douse it down in water. Don't do that. Do not use anything like that. It's just going to wreck the wheels. Unless you are intent on refurbing them at some point. In that case, if you spent money on refurbing them anyway, you're not going to want I wouldn't want to use hydrochloric acid on wheels that I've paid good money to have refurbed, because that will just eat through the paint finishes these days. And a lot of the paint finishes, whether it's the actual paintwork itself or the wheels, it's water based. What do you think hydrochloric acid is going to do to that? It's not like the old hard to eat paint that lasts a long time. No, absolutely not. At some point I will get these alloys refurbished, but because they're in such good condition, I cannot see that being any time soon. Probably a couple of years away at least. Just like on this side. Oh, I think I've been bleeding. Ooh. This is just so satisfying. The bloke who invented this colour transformation technology that every single detailing manufacturer's jumped on, I hope he got a pay rise for it. This isn't so bad. This one was really difficult. You can tell that's a front wheel and there's a lot more corrosion. This was the worst one when I originally cleaned these a couple of years ago when I bought them. They've come up really well. Considering that these, I don't think had ever been cleaned in 17 years before I bought these.
Right, I've just depulked all the tyres of all those stones, because as I've said many times, it is a good sign that you have stones in your tyres and you can hear that as you're going down the road. That means you've got good tread on your tyres, so that's the main thing. Although tread is not a sign of condition or age. I mean, I've had plenty of cars where the tyres are like the ones on the Rover. They are 8 years old, but the tread is amazing on them because it was only driven by an old lady. So there you go. And it was obviously standing still for a couple of years. So, you know, there's all sorts of things you need to be aware of with tyres. But these are superb tyres. These Roadstone Eurovis 04 tyres. If you've got these 16-inch Z-Tech wheels, getting tyres for these is extremely difficult. In terms of a budget conscious way. I know that you shouldn't really think of tyres and budget conscious in respect in cost of money, but the truth is £100 a corner for these wheels is not uncommon. It's not something that I'd really want to bank on for these wheels, and I managed to get these for about £75, and they're middle of the range, and that was a really good compromise. And I did all four of them at the same time, not two and another two. I did all four of them, which is, I think, is the proper way of changing tyres, unless you've got two decent tyres on the car. I just think changing tyres in pairs, yeah, okay, it makes sense in the short term, but in the long term you're costing yourself. Anyway, alloy wheel shield. This is another Diamond Bright product, and I swear by this. Now, I'm going to apply this to the outside later, but I'm going to do it to the inside while we're doing this exercise. Since they are dry, it literally requires a little spray. That is literally it. Okay, it will repel brake dust for a lot longer, and believe you me, the ease at which this will make brake dust comes on is amazing. Now, I can't remember if I actually did this before. I don't think I did personally. I don't think I actually did it on the inside of these when I first bought these wheels. In fact, I don't think I had this product at that time. I think I only bought this about a year ago. Okay, do those two first. Literally, you just buff it. Now, I'm going to use a relatively clean one, but it's very easy just to buff in, and it's much easier on this side because you're not dealing with a lot of spokes. So I would just do it very lightly. I wouldn't worry too much about this side, as long as there's some sort of protection to ensure that the brake dust just not embed as well as it has done. I mean, this was actually a bit of a... It's taken me 10 minutes to do all four of these wheels, which isn't too bad. It could take you 10 minutes to do one wheel if it was really bad, if the brake dust was really gungy and sticky. But these don't seem too bad. So I may have done it before, I just couldn't remember. But there are products from all other car detailers, wheel protection products, that do exactly the same job. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is... I mean, this is about £15, and yeah, okay, for the size of the bottle, you know, this is about 8, this is 15. You think, what? I'm not paying that much. Believe you me, you only need a little bit. This will last you years. That's it. So, but these have held up really well, but I am going to put some copperies on the hubs. I'm going to put the front wheels on, but because the paint hasn't arrived for the drums yet, I'm going to have to put 2 of these back in the house for the time being. Oh, God. I just thought, while the wheels are off, let's do this properly. And that's exactly the way I work. Even though, you know, I don't really want to be doing this, but I just want to get the wheels on and out this horrible, horrible weather. It will cost you in the short... Ooh. Oh, thank God, I thought that was me then. I was literally thinking, oh, is that my phone? No, I'm holding my damn phone. The sort of things that you hear on camera when I'm actually doing these videos. I shan't repeat it, but the other day I was doing a video and I had to stop halfway through and redo the whole clip because unfortunately some man had decided to presumably call his partner something I cannot repeat on camera during an argument, but it was one hilarious to listen to, but I just couldn't put it in the I couldn't put it in the video, but I have kept that video, to be honest with you. I might do a compilation of errors and cuts and, you know, basically videos I'm really not happy with for all sorts of ridiculous reasons, including just hearing what people are saying on the road. Anyway, these are all done. That's how easy it is. Now I've got to select two wheels, one better one. There's one with a bit of curbing, that's going to go on the passenger side, but that's the worst one of the car. There's one of them with curbing, I can't remember which one it was. I'll find out when I turn them around. But I'm going to leave this here until the brake paint of the actual, oh for goodness sake, brake caliper paint. Honestly, get it right, Andrew. Keep mincing my words about that. Yeah, so the truth is, I can't really do anything more than these at the moment. The underside is done. It's done. I'm really happy with everything else. I'm going to give these a bit of a clean with the brake cleaner, because obviously there's an element of wax that may have gone on the discs. Obviously the drums, it doesn't matter, but I've got to clean it because the paint's going to go on there. But apart from that, we're done. So I'm going to cut to the next shot, which will be me spraying this off. But for me it might be another day. For you it'll be instantaneously. So cut to the next shot. Remnants the old copper is. It's a pretty nice surface actually. It's preserved it really well. Just put a little bit more fresh stuff on the surface, only a smidge. Okay, spread it all the way around. Don't want too much. If you do get any on the disc accidentally, like I've just done on camera, wipe it off. Some on the studs as well. I mean, you don't really want copperies on the studs. You want the nuts to not fall off, but I don't think they're going to be honest. This is always the bit I don't like. Trying to get it to line up properly. There we go. Oh, it's just high enough. The car is actually just about high enough for me to get it over. Now, locking nut. I am refitting some genuine McCool locking nuts, which are the ones that would have been supplied when the car was brand new from the factory. So I find that quite a good thing, to be honest, that it's original. I'm not a massive fan of locking nuts, but they do the job. Even though someone could come around with a locking wheel removal tool if they really wanted your wheels. And the truth is, I don't think these are that desirable that they want to be stolen, and most people don't think of them as anything other than standard Z-Tech alloys, which is actually a really good deterrent in itself, because people just don't know what they are. Sometimes it doesn't line up properly. Get my impact. I will not be touching that locking nut. You do not use an impact gun on locking nuts. That's going to be an instant shear. I will tell you that. This is the number one reason why locking keys shear guns. If I ever took this car to a tyre place, or a place where they actually have to take the wheels off, I would remove the locking nut on that wheel. When the car goes in for its bodywork, naturally both wheels on that side are going to have the locking nut, well obviously they're going to have the wheels removed, so I will take these locking nuts out and put the cheap nasty ones that are starting to rust, believe it or not, on the car for when it goes to the body shop. Again, anytime it actually goes to a place of work, whether it's a tyre shop or the body shop, I mean there's very few places because I do all my own work, I will remove this locking nut just for the benefit that somebody else might get a bit too carried away with this. And as conducted, I am going to do the test. No, absolutely no movement in that bearing whatsoever. So my front wheel bearings, fingers crossed, are the originals and they still work.